conclave really comes down to a referendum on Francis.
India versus Pakistan.
This is one of the most dangerous escalations.
Real ID.
It is in full effect at airport checkpoints.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan.
And I'm Nora O'Donnell in Rome with the CBS World News Roundup. A mass began the day for cardinals of the Roman Catholic Church who are beginning the process of electing a new pope, an event steeped in history and mystery. There is pomp, drama, and anticipation here. The dean of the College of Cardinals urged voters to find a pope who prizes unity and sets aside personal interests. Seth Doan is with me here in Rome with more on the leading contenders for the papacy.
Vatican watcher John Allen has been publishing a papabile of the day on his site, Crux. We tend to look at this really as a horse race in a way. Is that fair?
Catholics believe that all of this unfolds under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. The fact that this is a supernatural process doesn't make it any less human, and therefore doesn't make it any less political.
He thinks there's a clear front-runner, the Vatican's top diplomat.
The Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the man who was Pope Francis' Secretary of State.
Or a Vatican outsider also credited with bridging divides.
Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, sort of the top Catholic in the Middle East.
Or the American Robert Francis Prevost, lived in Peru, speaks Spanish, and mixes those worlds. Or for a conservative, the man who led opposition to some of France's outreach to the LGBTQ community.
Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo from Kinshasa, Congo. So there are a lot of horses in this race.
I'm Chris Livesey in Rome. The decision to elect the Pope will take place inside the Sistine Chapel amid frescoes by Michelangelo, which include the Last Judgment, as 133 cardinal electors make their own judgment on the direction of the church. It's called the conclave, or with a key, because of the secrecy of the voting. Banned are cell phones, TV, magazines, and any exposure to the outside world. Only the Holy Spirit is supposed to intervene. The voting will end when white smoke puffs from a chimney on the roof of the chapel, followed by the words, Habemus Papam. We have a pope.
Monsignor Liam Bergen tells us how this could play out.
The last two elections happened in the second day. So in day two, so after four ballots. If it doesn't happen on the second day, I expect that we are going to get a surprise candidate, that the obvious candidates are not managing to get the required 2/3 of the vote.
Our CBS News polling shows American Catholics overwhelmingly approve of how Pope Francis led the church. More than a third say the next pope should have more conservative teachings than Francis. Steve?
Well, Nora, there's been a sharp and deadly escalation in tensions between two nuclear-armed powers, India and Pakistan. Here's CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Strategic U.S. partners on the brink of war again. Indian missiles overnight slammed into Pakistan-controlled territory. Delhi unleashed more after sunrise in what it called Operation Sindoor, destroying what it said were 9 terrorist campsites. Taking revenge against Pakistan for gunmen who 2 weeks ago massacred 26 people, mostly Hindu men, at a tourist hotspot in the disputed Kashmir region, which both India and Pakistan claim.
Today's the first day U.S. travelers are supposed to have real ID to board domestic flights. CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
It's real ID go time, even though the TSA expects nearly 1 in 5 flyers today will not have a compliant ID. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
They may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly.
Flyers without a real ID will receive additional security screening at the checkpoint. How early should I get here?
So we're really recommending that 2 to 3 hour time frame, just in case.
Dan Wiley is TSA's acting security director for Washington State.
We are not expecting meltdowns, not expecting excessive wait times. We're planned, we're prepared, and ready to go.
It's 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. It's 54 degrees in Richmond, California. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dashcam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie